This morning in Health Watch, every patient's worst nightmare. 8 women who underwent breast cancer reconstructive surgery have filed a lawsuit against a hospital in Connecticut. They claim that the hospital knew one of its surgeons had a long history of drug abuse. He was a renowned plastic surgeon in the affluent suburb of Greenwich, Connecticut. She was a breast cancer patient who thought she'd found the best in town.
I was told this was the dream team.
After Annette Batkin had a lumpectomy, she turned to plastic surgeon Dr. Ian Rubens for reconstructive surgery.
When I decided to do a double mastectomy, I had a party the night before my surgery because I was going to get this over with, get this done, move on with my life and be finished with it.
But in fact, Annette wasn't finished at all. She suffered chronic pain months after her breast reconstruction. Another doctor said her surgery had been botched. She then discovered that Dr. Rubens had a drug problem.
Forget about the fact that we were cut open in the most vulnerable position a woman can possibly be in, with this guy's hands inside of us, and he was a drug addict.
Annette's not alone. Several other women blame Dr. Rubens for botched surgery, including Robin Lyons. The two met last week for the first time.
Instant bonding.
Yeah.
Robin was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer in 2001. She had a mastectomy and in 2006 went to Dr. Rubens for some reconstructive work.
I had to go through having a mastectomy again because I had to have everything removed, and I woke up with nothing. And, sorry.
In 2006, Dr. Rubens was caught injecting himself with pain medication intended for his patients. In November 2007, he voluntarily turned in his medical license. The women learned about Rubens' drug problem this past January when he died of an apparent drug overdose.
I read it in the paper, and I was revolted.
Now these women, along with 6 others, are suing Greenwich Hospital. The hospital refused our request for an interview, but in a statement said, quote, "We believe that the claim lacks merit and that the hospital acted appropriately."
I can't figure out why.
The women, who are both cancer-free today, are moving forward, but hoping justice will be served.
Let's turn the corner together.
Thank you.
Joining us now for an exclusive interview, Annette Batkin, Robin Lyons, and their lawyer, Sean McGilligot. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Robin, let me begin with you. You first went to Dr. Rubens back in 2001, 7 years later. Are you still dealing with the repercussions?
Yes, I am. I'm going to have my last surgery this week. I've had 4 surgeries.
Why come forward? It's obviously difficult.
Because I don't want any other women to go through what I've gone through. And it's just revolting that the hospital knew that he was on drugs and still allowing him to operate on breast cancer patients. It's difficult enough to go through breast cancer and then knowing that your surgeon is a drug addict. And I've had a lot of complications. I've been cancer-free for 7 years.
And you hoped that the nightmare would end then, but it was just beginning.
No, it's continued.
What about you, Annette? When you see his face after all these years, when you hear the story again, what do you feel?
Well, my story is a little bit different because it hasn't been so many years. I was one of his last patients. So for me, it was a horror at the end because here I was just operated on, went home from the hospital, suddenly no doctor. Nobody's calling me to say, well, your doctors, this has happened to him. They were lying to me. They were telling me that he had neck problems, and he did have neck problems apparently, and that's what they said. Meanwhile, we were hearing from other sources in town that he actually had shot up in the operating room with drugs that had belonged to another patient.
How infuriating is that? I can't even imagine.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. When I woke up from my surgery, I was in horrible pain, and he was standing over me, and I'd been told that I shouldn't be in pain when I woke up, that they should have given me some medication. And now, in retrospect, I wonder, well, is it because he had my medication?
What must be incredibly frustrating is that both of you are intelligent women who did your homework, who thought you were going to the creme de la creme. What do you say to other women?
Well, I say, well, that's the thing. People trust doctors, so you don't expect this kind of thing to happen. And I expected wonderful care at Greenwich Hospital. You're in a wonderful community, upscale environment, and they have the best of the best. And it's very shocking. And
do you think he could have been on drugs while he was doing surgery on you?
In my case, I think there's a very good chance he was.
I think so because several months after he did my surgery in 2006, my breast swelled up to within 3 inches of my collarbone. And I've had to have 3 subsequent surgeries. This week, having my last, and hopefully my final.
Yes, hopefully. Sean, you have proof that the hospital knew he was a drug addict?
Well, the best proof is they were quoted as in the newspaper as admitting to knowledge of Dr. Rubin's drug abuse history going back to 1997. We've confirmed that with several independent sources who've contacted our law firm, Koskoff, and Beater, in connection with this lawsuit.
And what is your hope? Why go after the hospital and not the estate of Dr. Rubin's?
Well, our hope is that we can get the hospital to change its policies. And when considering what to do with a physician with a substance abuse problem, take the needs of patients into account, put the needs of patients first. Dr. Rubin's family would be involved in any case against his estate. And when we look at this, it's the conduct of the hospital that really is at fault here. And I think it bears noting that the hospital didn't do Dr. Rubin's or his family any favors by enabling him for over 10 years in his drug addiction and continuing to allow him access to opioids at the hospital.
All right, Sean, Annette, Robin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck to you both.
Thank you.